Welcome to 99th Monkey Liberty News for Wednesday, September 17th, 2014. And may I perhaps be the first person today to wish you Happy Constitution Day. Today is the September 17th is the anniversary of the Constitution. And more on that later. But our first article today is from allgov.com. Treasury Department ignores fraud charges and awards Comerica 5 more years of providing benefit cards to elderly and disabled. Comerica Bank seemingly was on its way out of doing business with the U.S. Department of the Treasury after it was learned that the bank had exposed thousands of elderly and disabled Americans to fraud. But somehow it just got another deal with the agency for another 5 years. Hey, that's the way we roll. To our shame. From Infowars.com, top U.S. military official admits our Arab allies are funding ISIS. I know major Arab allies who fund them. And this is from General Dempsey. It's crucial right now to know about this and to be talking about this because this ISIS thing is being used to lead us Americans, like as if it were a nose ring, into conflict with Syria, which is going to lead us into World War III unless we stop it. So it's crucial that we stop. And this kind of truth, this kind of information can help it. They can't say, the government can't say on one hand, we have to fight ISIS, while its allies are funding ISIS. It just doesn't work. The first thing you do is break off the relationship with the allies who are funding the organization. And for a little more information, I noticed this on the Daily Paul. They lied. And everybody needs to realize this and remember this. These are facts. They lied about stolen Kuwaiti incubators. They lied about Saddam's nuclear weapons. They are lying to trick you into the third invasion of Iraq. They lied about a Spanish mine in Havana. There's this long history. They lied about the Lusitania. People need to become aware of this. Once this deception is pierced, once the curtain is pulled back and all this is exposed, the old lies won't work anymore. And it's really crucial that we help people understand these lies, so that they don't work anymore. Because if they work, we're only going to be heading into more and more dire straits. From Infowars.com, dozens of children dead after UN gives tainted vaccine in rebel-held Syria. U.S. and Saudi-backed mercenaries blame al-Assad. But, you know, that's not the way it is. Who do you think is doing this? Who stands to gain? Qui bono. I want to shift gears a little bit. That's kind of dramatic going from that to this. This is something that can affect many of us on a day-to-day basis. From Electronic Frontier Foundation, Comcast denies allegations of Tor crackdown. Users should continue to report any non-neutral activity. Over the weekend, accusations surfaced that Comcast has been threatening Tor users with termination of service. According to the reports, Comcast subscribers claim that agents from the company instructed subscribers that use of the highly popular Tor browser was illegal and against the giant ISP's user policies. Let's get one thing straight right now. Tor isn't illegal. We actually use Comcast. I'm not a fan, so I want to read part of this paragraph as well. Comcast doesn't have the best record when it comes to modifying throttling and even blocking its users' traffic. For instance, in 2007, the company was caught throttling encrypted traffic from peer-to-peer file sharing sites, including BitTorrent, sparking net neutrality conversations that led to FCC rules back in 2010. And to be clear, the company issued a denial when those accusations surfaced, despite the fact that they were actually engaging in the censorious behavior. So this battle continues, and on a more personal, fundamental front, any of you who have watched these videos on any kind of long-term basis are aware that at times I've had issues with my system resources that have made recording garbled and things of that nature. And I hadn't let Flash upgrade for a little while, so I did. And as I did, I was, you know how you do a search and you find where you can get the update, and then you see some other things, and I was led on a rabbit trail, which was a good thing as it turns out, because I learned some things about Flash settings. First of all, your Flash settings aren't local. You can't open Flash Player and go through the preferences menu. They are your Flash Player preferences are done online, changed online. So here's the peer-assisted networking panel, and each one of these is a different panel. And I won't click through them because it will take too long to load, and I don't want to spend that much time, but I hope that you will consider going here and just looking at these settings, because I was astonished. There were exceptions here for websites that I have never visited, have no idea what they are. So of course I changed everything so that it's my Flash is much more secure. Firefox is running a lot better. And here's one of the reasons. I mean, this is the peer-assisted networking settings. Some websites may use the peer-assisted networking features of Flash Player and may use your upload bandwidth. View, change, or disable these settings for the websites you have visited. I'm not going to let any website use my bandwidth. And there's another tab here that allows for other websites to use some of your storage. I'm guessing that's your hard drive. So again, if you have a few minutes, it might be a good idea to visit this website and click through these Flash Player settings and make it as secure as possible. I saw this video. I think it was Vatic Project. They had a link to it, and I thought twice about sharing it because it's just so dark, and we all pretty much know this. Child killing by royalty, Soros, eyewitness. This lady says that her husband was in the mafia and was a first-hand witness of some of these activities. Anybody can say that. That's another reason why I hesitated about sharing it this morning. But of course, as I said, we all know this. So this is just evidence from a little closer in, and it's really important, I believe, that we understand what kind of people we're dealing with at the upper echelons of world governments, and that we are motivated to get rid of them, vote them out, seek independence from nations who are ruled by them, use a process, a rule of law kind of a process. Not, I hope we can do it without open rebellion and a lot of deaths and blood and destruction. I hope we can do this through rule of law. And in America, we certainly have the Constitution, and we are established lawfully under the rule of law as a constitutional republic. So we can use rule of law to find our freedom and to not have these kind of people rule over us. From John Rappaport, I mentioned that I don't really want to focus a whole lot on all of the Ebola stories. But John Rappaport exposed the heroic Ebola doctor myth. And he evidently believes this Ebola is fear-mongering, as do even Benjamin Fulford said that, wrote that in his blog this week. So here, John Rappaport, the playbook looks very much like something the CIA would come up with. I have to agree, and I certainly hope that that is the case, that this is not a real threat on the scale that some are saying it is. If you follow metals, you probably have been reading articles predicting that they will soon go up. And there are reasons why that does make sense, and all things being equal, they would go up if the prices weren't being stifled. But there's a lot of interesting activity. There is a large silver long position that supposedly has intention of breaking the bankers, the cabal members, who are trying to keep silver prices down with shorts. If you follow it, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you might not be interested. Here is some information from Bixweir, the Road to Ruta letters. Here's why $100,000 an ounce silver is a conservative estimate. Now, I don't know that I fully agree with that, but it is rumored that there are changes in the metals markets. So I'm not, saying run out and buy a whole lot or anything like that. If you have it, maybe you can try to hold on to it. If the prices continue they've been moving down recently. There's this tug of war between long positions and short positions, and the price is being manipulated by people who are holding short positions, and they're big short positions. They're huge. There's a lot of money behind them, but supposedly now there is also a lot of money behind long positions and willing to get into long positions in order to break the people who are artificially suppressing silver prices and gold, but silver is even more suppressed than gold. And as I mentioned, today is Constitution Day, and the 10th Amendment Center invites us to try something new this Constitution Day: nullify the feds. It's difficult to know and to anticipate just what it will look like when we finally do find release from artificial feds, from the Federal Reserve banking system, and from the U.S. corporation masquerading as the constitutional United States Republic. But I do believe that it will happen. It has to happen. The more we can all be active in nullifying the feds, in whatever form that takes, exposing them, talking about them, resisting them, we all need to persevere in order to have our liberty restored. And we're not alone. And this website can certainly help us understand that we're not alone, that there are a lot of educated, resourceful, intelligent people who are moving to nullify the evil forces that are set upon us. So, happy Constitution Day. Thank you for tuning in for today's 99th Monkey Liberty News. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Hoping that you will love one another, take care, and insist on liberty. Nullify the feds.